Hello, and welcome to QuickTale English. Today, we share a true story about an unsolved mystery that is over 30 years old, the Springfield Three. The time was June 1992. The place was Springfield, Missouri, USA. This is the story of three women who disappeared from their home without a trace, without any sign. The three women were Sherrill Levitt, the mother, 47 years old, her daughter, Suzie Streeter, 19 years old, and Suzie's best friend, Stacy McCall, 18 years old. Sherrill Levitt lived in a small house on Delmar Street with her daughter Suzie. Suzie and Stacy were graduating from high school that weekend. They were very happy and excited for their future. On Saturday evening, June 6, 1992, Suzie and Stacy spent time together. They went to a party and came back to Sherrill's house very late, around 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. Stacy called her mother Janice to say she was home and would stay the night at Suzie's house. Sherrill was also at home, probably asleep. The night was calm, the house was quiet. Nothing seemed wrong or dangerous. The next morning, Sunday, June 7th, the mystery began. Stacy's mother, Janice, became worried. Stacy did not come home to pick up things for her graduation party. Janice drove to Sherrill's house on Delmar Street around 11 a.m. When she arrived, she saw Suzie's car and Sherrill's car were both outside the house. This was normal. But the front door was unlocked. This was unusual, strange. Janice walked into the house. She called for Stacy and Suzie. No one answered. She noticed strange things immediately. The lights were on in the house. The television was on, making noise in the living room. The bed in the master bedroom was turned down, ready for someone to sleep. But no one was there. The small dog, a Yorkshire Terrier, was very anxious, nervous and worried, and running around the house. Janice found the women's purses and wallets in the house. The women's car keys were also there, near the keys for Sherrill's car. This meant they did not plan to go anywhere in a hurry. Janice called Suzie's friend Bart Streeter, no relation, same name, to come to the house. Bart arrived quickly. He saw the same strange things. He also found a note on the floor that was about a broken light, but this note did not seem important. Janice and Bart called the police. The police arrived at the house. They began a full investigation, a detailed search for facts and clues. The most surprising fact was the condition of the house. No forced entry, the doors and windows were not broken, someone opened the door with a key, or the door was unlocked when the person entered. No signs of struggle. The furniture was in place, there was no blood, the house was tidy. There was no sign that the women fought anyone. Essential items were left. The women left their money, identification cards, and car keys behind. This meant they did not leave quickly or willingly. The police also found another strange item. The answering machine had a message on it. Bart listened to the message, which was a strange, silent threat, a bad promise. Bart thought the voice was angry, but it was too unclear to understand the words. For some reason, Bart accidentally erased the message before the police could analyze it. This loss of evidence was a big problem for the case. The police started talking to neighbors and possible witnesses, people who saw something. Nobody saw or heard a struggle, a loud car, or anyone suspicious near the house early that morning. The time of the disappearance was unknown, but it must have happened between 2 a.m., when Stacy called her mother, and 11 a.m., when Janice arrived. The case went cold very quickly. Investigators had no body, no weapon, and no clear motive, reason for the crime. Over the next months and years, many people came forward with theories. One theory was that the disappearance was related to road repair work happening near the house. Some people thought the construction workers might have seen something important or were involved. The police checked this, but they found nothing definitive. Another theory was that the women were taken by someone they knew, perhaps an acquaintance of Suzie or Sherrill. Because there was no struggle, the women must have let the person into the house. But why did all three go willingly? The police later received tips about a possible suspect who knew the family and had a history of violence. This man was interviewed, but again, there was no solid evidence to connect him directly to the disappearance. The most famous theory involved a man named Robert Craig Cox, who was in jail for a different crime. Cox claimed that he knew the women were dead and that their bodies would never be found. He said he was present when they were murdered, but he refused to give the location of the bodies. He provided some details that only the killer might know, but he was inconsistent, and the police could not prove his involvement. The case of the Springfield Three remains one of the greatest unsolved crimes in modern American history. The house where the women disappeared was later demolished, torn down. The search for Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy continues today. Their families never gave up hope, offering a large reward for any information. The mystery is terrifying because it shows that a person can disappear completely with no sign of violence from the safety of their own home. It is a mystery that still puzzles the FBI and police investigators many years later. Thank you for joining QuickTale English. Subscribe for more stories about true crime and unsolved mysteries, and continue practicing your B1 English. See you next time.